Morning, Facebook. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tipster Tuesday. This is my favorite outlet for me to pour hopefully some wisdom and practical tips out to you guys as you are building your doTERRA businesses. So as people are getting notified that we're rocking and rolling here, I would love to just kind of hear what your win is for the day already. It's morning, but hopefully you got up and got like one or two wins checked off your list so that it kind of feeds into your productivity for the rest of the day, or your health, or your, whatever it may be, how you show up. So for me, a big win for me is drinking water first thing in the morning, because I actually stumble to the coffee pot, and that's how I wake up. But I don't always want to wake up just that way. And I know that it's really good to flush toxins out of your body when you first wake up. So I just challenged myself that as my coffee is being made, I chug some water. And I did that today, and I felt like I'm winning. And it might be something really simple. So comment with your wins. I want to know what you're doing that has made you feel good. Maybe you used your oils today already. Maybe you got up early and did some personal development straight away, or you got your workout in already. I have not done that yet, so I'll be moving my body later. But anyway, I love that there's certain things that we can actually do, like real actions that can get the train running in the right direction so that our whole day can stay on track. And the opposite is true too. Like if you don't wake up and accomplish something that is a priority to you, or that makes you feel like you're moving the needle forward and things like that, if you don't feel like you've done that, your whole day can feel really derailed as well. So anyway, I see some comments coming in. Good job. Sometimes it's just a matter of organizing or packing your kids a healthy lunch. All of those things are wins. Okay, so we're going to dive in. My topic that I want to share with you today is called Let's Hire Help. And I think this is an important topic because I think sometimes in people's minds, we shouldn't or can't or don't need to hire help until we are like a certain rank in doTERRA. And I just want to help you understand that that's not true. And I also want I want to kind of take some myths out of hiring help and what that looks like for everybody. And I want to give you some really practical tips to get some help in your home and in your business and in your life so that you're more productive in your business. And so that's what I want to kind of talk about today, because the truth is you can't do it all. You absolutely can't. Like if you have big dreams and big goals in doTERRA, and you're also balancing other things, perhaps another job, relationships, maybe children, other activities or commitments within your community, perhaps, whatever it may be, something's got to give at some point. You can't keep growing your business at the rate that you want to grow it and get to the place that you want to go, and everything else you can just expect those plates to spin seamlessly. It doesn't work like that, and it shouldn't work like that. And honestly, when you do that, it's just not even appealing, because the only person that feels satisfied in that is probably you, maybe, but like everyone else is looking at it thinking like she's just stressed out and miserable, living her passion. But there's not like a level of passion exuding from you because you're burnt out. And I want to help you to avoid that kind of overwhelm. Okay. So one thing is, just keep in mind, as your business is increasing, which hopefully it is honestly daily, a little bit at a time, as it's increasing, the manpower needs to increase as well. Okay. And I'm going to give you some really practical tips and really cheap tips too. So don't think that this is, something that like only rich people can afford. Okay. And if you guys have followed me for a long time, you know that we came out of bankruptcy, we were introduced to doTERRA and had to do an uphill climb financially from that point on. So I wasn't always a presidential diamond, and I actually probably have very, very little help compared to most, but I'll explain what I do, okay? And I have a beautiful file that I created for you that I'll put on in our Facebook group. That's where I can drop files for you. So in Live Naturally system, I'll drop this for you. So if you just want some notes to follow along, I got that for you, okay? I mean, I made it for you. Okay, if you're feeling overwhelmed at all, that's the first sign that help is going to be needed for you. And if you feel like things are falling through the cracks or you have a monkey on your back, and it's just kind of like, oh, this, like every day I'm kind of going to bed, not feeling like a winner, honestly, but feeling like I can't do it all. And I don't like how I showed up today. And I don't like that I didn't get the things done that I know I needed to get done, because these other things took precedence or I allowed them to. So that's a good sign that you need some help in some way, okay? Now, if you're feeling like you can't afford to hire, I have some really great tips for you. But I want to just kind of help you with the mindset of that, because when you feel like you can't afford to hire, that means your mindset is really fixed in this scarcity mentality. And I would ask you to let the big red flag go off in your heart and mind to say, do I have a scarcity mentality about this? And you might have a growth mindset in other things in your life, but you could have a very fixed mindset in money. And you can afford to hire, because I'm going to teach you how to afford it. But also you need to scale your business accordingly for growth. So you are actually putting a strong cap on your business and your business potential if you have this sense of, I can't afford to hire, I don't have the money, but I have the expectation that that money is going to come. Like I have the expectation that if I have help in the right places and if I invest a little bit over here, it's going to free me up to crush my business over here. So you got to kind of think about that. Like if you want your business to scale, you've got to invest a little bit more. And an example of that is, it's been 4 years now since Nate's been home, actually 4 years in April since he quit his job. And I was a diamond at the time. I was hitting diamond solid, but I was really inching close to blue diamond, and working really hard for that. I was definitely feeling overwhelmed at that time. The help that we had was a housekeeper, and I had an assistant that maybe helped me for like 5 to 10 hours a week on like setting up public classes and different things. So not a ton of help. I had some childcare support. We owned a duplex at the time, so we lived in the bottom, and my upline actually lived in the top. And she wasn't actively building doTERRA, but she was massively supportive, and she would keep my kids for a couple hours here, a couple hours there, and just let them come upstairs and play so I could get work done. So that was incredible. Okay, so that was happening, and I said to Nate, he was like, I'd really like to quit my job. I feel like we're at that point where like I could come home, you out earn me, let's do doTERRA together, but you need to hit blue diamond and then I'll come home. And I was like, I don't actually believe that I have enough capacity to hit blue diamond unless you come home now, because it's kind of like I'm getting pinched, it's getting tough. And I need more. Like I need more childcare support. I need a parent with my kids, but I also need to be able to like travel a little bit and hustle this a little bit harder. And so he came home in April. He quit his job in April, the very end of April. And then we hit blue diamond in June. And so there was like this, I just believed if we would scale our business a little bit and make the sacrifice for a couple months, cutting off his income, I could immediately make up for it in the jump from diamond to blue. So you have to scale your business a little bit, okay? Okay, so hiring in general, I would just say start really small. So if you're just getting started with doTERRA, or maybe you're like a premier or a silver rank, so you don't probably need somebody that is gonna like work 40 hours a week for you. I don't even need somebody who's going to work 40 hours a week for me, okay? And I would say there's very few leaders that have that kind of help, but some probably do. But you don't necessarily even need a 20-hour-a-week assistant or something like that. Like you might just need 2 to 4 hours of extra help a week that gives you enough time to do more income-producing activities, to go out and network, or to go teach a class, or always schedule a one-on-one on a certain day, or whatever it may be. And that's an incredible amount of free time. Like most people will say they don't have time, but I'm like, I actually beg to differ. I know we have a fixed finite amount of time, but there is a way to create more time if you're very strategic about how you organize your day, how you organize your help, and how you organize like your extra time, like the time that you watch Netflix on and stuff like that, like I bet I could buy you a lot of time if you give that up. So think about that. I'm just going to make sure I'm on track for you guys. Okay. A couple of ideas with this though is you have to decide where you need help the most. Okay. So I'm going to start with office organization first and give you some ideas for that. For me, I have a lot of oils. I have a lot of different products. I have a bin of stuff that I take to public classes. I have my, my bag that I take to class for teaching. I just have a lot coming in and going out. We sample a lot. So I have like a whole sample station, that kind of thing. And so there's office organization involved in there. And I would say if you can find a 12-year-old girl, that is going to be the best person to hire for that kind of stuff. My daughter's almost 12 and my other daughter's 7, but they're my office managers. That's what they are. And anytime a doTERRA box arrives, they open it, they sticker it, and they organize it in the cabinet behind me. They put everything away. They take my boxes, the empty boxes, and they put them in recycling, or they stack them up nicely in the basement so I can reuse them, repurpose them. They do all of that. So I can come home sometimes and not even know that a box arrived because they already had taken care of it, and they are children. Okay, so you can definitely use your children, borrow your neighbor's child. Maybe you don't have children that are old enough yet, but I would say don't underestimate the fact that like 6 and 7-year-olds can definitely participate in these things. And sometimes they get it wrong. I will just say that I looked in my my case, and I thought I had 2 bottles of lemongrass, and I went to grab one for Symphony of the Cells, and it was actually lemon myrtle from convention, but my 7-year-old put a lemongrass sticker on, so there's a little quality control issue going on there, but like, truthfully, it teaches them to be part of the business. They're part of what's going on, and it's awesome, and it can be literally free. Now, I'll just give you an extra tip. For tax purposes, we do pay our children, and you can pay each child that you have in your family that works for you up to $12,000 a year. So we pay our children, and then they, in turn, work for us to earn their money, but it goes into a bank account. Okay, so that's just an extra tip. Ask your accountant about that. So that's office organization. High school students are awesome at that kind of stuff. If there's like a high school girl in your neighborhood or at church, you can probably get away with paying someone like $10 an hour for something like that. And they're learning like on the job skills, and no one can work until you're like 14. You can't legally get a paycheck. You can't like work at Starbucks or Walgreens or anything like that. So working for you is a great way for them to start earning some money. And not everyone's cut out to be a babysitter, maybe not everyone lights up about that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so childcare is another one. If you have littles, this is probably the most necessary thing for you if your kids aren't in school full time, or if you homeschool your kids. And so they're around all the time, but they're too young to maybe stay home by themselves, that type of thing. I know that can be tricky, and it's a balancing act, and it's actually impossible to multitask your business and your children and do it really well. You can maybe do it for little chunks of 20 minutes of time or something like that, but to get like a 3-hour workflow in, like, you can't do that. You can't neglect your kids. And so I would highly recommend, if you can afford a babysitter, if you can like pay someone to come and watch your kids for like 4 hours, 1 day a week or something like that, that could be your doTERRA time. However, one good tip, if you're like, that's not even in our budget yet or something like that, trade with another mom. So maybe you're like, hey, I need a break, you need a break, our kids mesh well together. How about on Tuesdays, I watch your kids for 4 or 5 hours, I'll feed them lunch and everything, and you just do you. And then like on Thursdays, you watch my kids for the same amount of time, and I'm gonna work, but at least like you have that, and you have that trade. And so, Tuesdays you give yourselves to crafts and My Little Pony, and on Thursdays you can like escape and go get your stuff done. Okay, so sometimes even having that window of time makes a big difference, and that's getting help without paying for it, honestly. So those are some things. And honestly, one of the things I would just kind of add in here is that good help is actually not hard to find. What is actually hard, and the hurdle that you probably find that you run into, is asking. Just ask for help. And I think we're so resistant to that idea. I mean, it's not comfortable, it's not normal. I don't actually like asking for help. I feel very self-sufficient, and in a sense I like to do it myself, but we're actually robbing people the joy of helping too. And then on another level, perhaps you have a mom who would love just some essential oils. Like she would love essential oils, but she hasn't bit the bullet yet for that. Maybe she watches your kids, 4 days this month or something like that, and then you gift her a starter kit, and she has a membership, and then next month she watches your kids like 4 different times or whatever, and you run her LRP for her or something like that, or you trade oils for her, that type of thing. Maybe you cash in your points. You don't even set up an account for her, but I always try to set up an account like whenever possible. But maybe you just trade, cash in your points and provide her with oils and products for her family, that type of thing, and get her started with oils that way. So you can trade either your skills or your resources, and usually you don't have a lot of time to give. That's the whole point of hiring. But you have resources, which are your oils, okay? So ask for help. Ask for help. Tell people you need help. Tell people your business is growing and you're just trying to figure out how to scale it effectively, but you're going to need some more help. Who do you know? Who knows who? You might not know any teenagers right now, or you might not know another mom you can trade with, but you got to go find them. That's part of networking, figuring it out, okay? All right, another thing you might want to hire out for is tech support. If all technology is like a pain for you, a thorn in your flesh, there's an element that, yes, we can do hard things and we can learn things, but if it is taking up tons of your time and energy, one is I would suggest just change how you do your business, because if you're not flowing with technology and social media, that's a really good sign that building a business through social media is not right for you. Unless you're bound and determined to do it, maybe whatever, but I just think like, don't make it so hard. Do something that works for you, that's like within your natural strengths, okay? But technology can be a time suck if you're not good at it, if you're not inclined to it, if you're not willing to learn it, if it stresses you out. So you can hire a virtual assistant, and you can hire virtual assistants for sometimes around $20, and maybe you only need them for 2 hours a week. I'm not saying you need to hire a virtual assistant for 10 hours and you're like, well, what would I even give them to do, but maybe that job that you're trying to get done on social media, maybe scheduling Facebook group posts in your user group, maybe it is cleaning out your inbox because you can't function with 10,997 emails. I heard people have that many in your inbox, and maybe you can't function like that, but you don't have time to clean it out either, and if you can't ignore it, hire somebody else to do that job, because that will take you hours and hours and hours. And somebody who is a virtual assistant is like, they're savvy with that stuff, so they could get it done in like 2 hours. So in your head, you're thinking, this is a really long job, but in their mind, they're thinking that was a really quick job, because they have skills and tools and shortcuts that they can take, okay? Perhaps you struggle with graphics, and you could just sit down and hire somebody to do a bunch of graphics, like a whole file full of graphics that you can use for like a whole year, And now there's, I think it's called OneDrop. Is it OneDrop? That Brad Jones and Keeley are creating. I think it's that, but now I'm like second guessing myself. But anyway, there'll be tons of graphics that you can just buy like a subscription and get graphics constantly. So that will save you so much time and energy and money and everything, to use what somebody else is doing that's going to be really great quality, okay? There's also, you can get a virtual assistant. I think it's called DoMatch or Dova Match. doTERRA VA Match, and they can match up virtual assistants with you and like your strengths and your skills and what you actually need. Because some people want a web developer and other people just need a Facebook post scheduled, and that type of thing. And those are two very different things. Okay, keep going. I'm going to keep going, because sometimes you're like, no, I'm not hiring that. I'm not hiring that. But household help, that's my biggest thing. That's what I hire for. And I can kind of manage a lot of the other stuff, but without household help, I feel like I'm drowning. And so household help was the very first thing that we hired when we were golds, and I was just starting Diamond Club, and it was the very first thing on my vision board. Like, why are you doing doTERRA? I'm doing doTERRA because I want a housekeeper. period. And people are like, your why needs to be so big, it makes you cry. And I'm like, these Legos that I'm stepping on every day do make me cry. And I am over it. I'm over all of this. And I'm over the sticky coffee table and the smeared windows and all of those things. I'm like, I can't keep up with this, and I can't function in a house that's messy because I can't not see it. And so we hired a housekeeper straight away. And that is one thing that has breathed a ton of life into me. And you might, again, I want to challenge your scarcity on this, because you're like, we can't afford a housekeeper, but could you afford someone to come in to fold laundry? You know, maybe that's what's piled up and it's just a constant like stress and struggle. So maybe someone who, like, again, a teenager, $10 an hour, folding laundry is not a hard job. Like, you do not need to pay someone $25 an hour to fold laundry, right? So maybe there's a retired, woman at church or something like that would love to come in and fold laundry and put laundry away and make everybody's bed in the morning and just do tidying. It doesn't have to be deep cleaning, but maybe you want a deep clean. It just depends. You have to evaluate, what do I need the most? What's the biggest pain point that if this was eliminated, how refreshing I would feel? Now, we're in flux right now where our current housekeeper moved just last week, and we're actually talking to someone today to get quotes and things like that. So that means in the last 10 days, I have not had a housekeeper. And I'm telling you, the place is falling apart. And every night, like last night, I did a coaching call and I was exhausted when I was done. And I wanted to just like hibernate and crawl into bed. But I realized all of our good clothes that cannot be dried, were in the washer. I needed to stand there and hang them all up. And those are things that I'm just like, I didn't sign up for this anymore. Like, this is the stuff. Hang on, getting a phone call. My mom is calling me, that's the stuff that I don't want to do anymore. I want to be able to pour my heart and soul into doTERRA, and I want to just show up and have my clothes folded on my bed at the end of the day. That's what I want to do. And so laundry is a huge thing for me, and that's where I want help. Maybe whatever, it's cleaning. Somebody just comes and cleans all the bathrooms. I don't know, but the point is, you can get help. As a teenager, I did clean houses. I cleaned my dance teacher's apartment. I remember cleaning her whole apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. I cleaned the entire thing. And I usually did it like once a month, I think. And I think I earned $45. So it wasn't a ton of money. I probably worked for 3 or 4 hours, but I knew that the job paid me $45, period. And so I would work fast and hard to get it done. So again, you don't need to call Mary Maids that's going to charge you $60 an hour necessarily. Find somebody who is motivated and willing to work. And honestly, I think back, I'm like, all of those jobs that I had, they developed character in me that's paying off now. So you're going to be investing into somebody's work ethic and their excellence and things like that. So that's a huge thing too. Think bigger than yourself. Okay, the last thing I want to hit on that you might need to hire is a trainer, a personal trainer, or a coach, or a health coach, or a business coach, or something along the line where if you are feeling like you're not accomplishing what you want to accomplish, maybe this is a good step. And sometimes a coach can be, a one-time call, 4 calls. And I'm not saying you need to hire someone for the rest of your life, but maybe you do. I don't know. For me, a few years ago, I think our business was really solid. We had hit presidential and our business was feeling good, but I was working out very much intermittently. I was working out kind of some days and kind of not. And what I didn't like is thinking through and planning the workout. That took up brain space for me. It was like decision fatigue. I didn't want to do that. I know how to work out. I just don't want to do it because I don't want to have to think about it and plan it. And is it leg day? Is it, what am I working on? That kind of stuff. Should I do more cardio? Should I not? I don't know. And I just felt like enough with this. And so I went to the gym. We hired a trainer. I've been working with him ever since. And I show up 3 times a week and he tells me what to do. And he plans the workout and he just says, do this, do this, do this. And I do what he tells me to do. And my fitness and my health have never been better. And then I supplement with other things like yoga class and self-defense class and running and all the things, because I'm super committed to moving my body. But I needed someone to tell me what to do, because I was just kind of meh. who's going to know if I don't or do show up to the gym, right? But I absolutely believe we need to take our wellness seriously because we're wellness advocates. So if you don't know how to cook healthy meals, maybe you hire somebody to come in and do some meal prep for you, or to teach you, or to drop off 2 meals a week, because you're a wellness advocate. And so if your wellness isn't in check, if you are not, like, if everything doesn't line up in the pyramid for you, healthy eating, exercise and weight management, rest and managing stress, reducing toxic load, if those things aren't lined up in your own life, it's a hard sell for somebody else who's watching you from the outside and being like, she just like slammed a cheeseburger before the class. Like, I just watched her go through McDonald's, and then she showed up to be like, food is the most important thing you put in your body, So I'm just gonna push you a little bit to take it a little more seriously, and get some help if you need some help. But don't live in an unhealthy place and call yourself a wellness advocate. Don't do that. Get yourself started on that journey, okay? Just start right now. Drink more water. Start right now, okay? The last thing I want to say with help, and then it just left my brain. What was I going to tell? Oh, food. Speaking of food, you don't need to spend 3 hours at the grocery store anymore. There is Instacart, there's grocery delivery, there is Shipt, there is Amazon Fresh Market. There's Peapod. I would venture that 99.9% of you live somewhere that someone can grocery shop for you and bring it to your house, and it usually costs an additional like $5. It's very, very inexpensive. It's an awesome service, and it would save you that much time. Not only that time, but also helps save your budget because you're not walking through the store seeing things that you don't need. You have to create your lists and your meal plans and things like that, think it through, and then put in your orders. That will save you time, super cheap again. But if you want 3 more hours in your week so that you can crush this business, then that's a great way to find that time, okay? So I hope you guys feel inspired to get some help. And I would actually just kind of charge you or give you the action step today to go into kind of look through every list everything I gave you, childcare, office organization, tech support, household help, trainer, coach, food support, and see in which area can you hire somebody right now? Can you find help right now? Because honestly, I bet if you just had 2 to 4 more hours in the week and you're already good at your daily habits and you're already good at networking and teaching and things like that, think of how much more productive you would be. You'd probably get 2 more enrollments every single week just by finding a little extra time to work on the things that matter the most. And so that's a big deal. So it doesn't have to cost a lot, although it can. Like, the sky is the limit, honestly. But I'm not a big fan of people in my house that I don't need. So it's not like I'm just like, I hire in every single area and people do everything for me. And, today someone scrubbed my toes. Like, none of that is happening for us besides the housekeeping situation, okay, which is non-existent right now. We're figuring it out. And then having my kids help with a lot of stuff. But the rest of it is I'm doing it myself right now. And so if you feel peaceful about that, great, keep going. And if you feel like your business needs to scale in proportion with the manpower that you bring on, then awesome. Okay. So thanks for being with me, you guys, on our Tipster Tuesday. Next week, you get the privilege of hearing from Michelle Cannon, who is our social media guru. And she'll be talking about commitment, I believe. So it's a great topic to segue into that, because kind of how you design your day, your life, and how serious you take this part of your business directly correlates with the commitment that you have to making this work and to staying all in with doTERRA. Okay, that's all I got for you today. Have a great day. Go drink your water. Go hire some help. Go find some help. You guys got this. See you later.